Step into the paranormal with Ernie Atwell and David Seiler, brought to you by Paranormal Inc., right here on WLFE DB Radio.
Well, hello, everybody.
Hello,
and welcome to episode 46. It's 46, I promise.
I got no reason not to believe you. So what's happening, David Seiler?
Oh, well, basically about 2 weeks ago, I decided to try to kill myself and break my own back. I was hauling a big piece of furniture across my floor, tripped and had it land on me.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you was walking through the house and maybe thought you saw a ghost and took off running. And crashed through a wall.
This was just my sheer stupidity, and I've been on a couch ever since. I heard a pop as I hit, and it was ugly. I couldn't move my feet for almost 20 minutes. Thought I broke my back.
The older you get, you remember like when we were kids and things like that would happen, you would just bounce.
Yeah, bounce up, let it roll.
And you get in trouble for breaking something.
Yeah.
Now it's like, man, you moved too fast or moved the wrong way and out of commission.
Yeah, gravity works. And then historic 1912 hit Ernie in the nose. Okay. What's up, guys? So thank you for joining us, and we have a very special guest.
Man,
tonight.
I tell you what, we've been waiting for this show because we had our next guest scheduled, I think, twice, and because of scheduling conflicts, always had to postpone. But we have her tonight. You all know who she is.
Who is she?
She is from Happy Horrors Productions. She is the author of The Storyteller of Pain, along with 6 other books.
Sweet.
I know. What a special guest tonight. Without further ado, Miss Loren Molloy.
What's up, everybody? How you doing, guys? How you doing? I'm happy to be here. Thank you for dealing with the scheduling conflicts.
Man, we finally got you. How many? I know it's been like, what, a year we've been trying to...
I mean, I've been busy. You've been busy. There's been some stuff. I mean, it's not like I was just sitting on my bed staring at the wall going, I don't want to do it. No.
Or laying on the sofa because a bookshelf fell on you.
Honey, let me tell you, with the first movie I made, I literally broke my tailbone in the middle of a national forest and still had to limp 5 miles back. I was in a back brace for 2.5 months after my first movie, just because I was trying to tie some stupid string for one of the special effects scenes and bent the wrong way, stood up, and I was like, so, dude, I know how you feel, because I was in that bed, and you see how hyperactive I am. Imagine being told, you're in a back brace and you got to be in bed.
I know.
That's how I wrote my second movie, because it was like, if I don't do something, I could find ways to kill people from this bed soon.
It's I know. It's like I've had so many injuries over the years, quite a few work related, and man, when you're down a wheel or it's your back or
call me Eileen.
It's miserable.
See me, I'm always like this now. Well, I had first hurt my back. I worked for special needs autistic kids as a 5-1 teacher aide, teacher assistant, depending as you grow in the system. But and I had a kid pick up a TV that wasn't bolted down. I had just walked into the room. He was about to throw it at another kid, and we're talking kindergarten level. And I caught the TV so the kid didn't get killed by it. But the back of the teacher's desk was one of those corners because it's old school. So it went right into my coccyx tail. I went down with the TV because it was one of those tube TVs. Because, education systems, they weren't updating until recently. So, I went down. The kid was fine. But then it was like, oh, wait, what do you mean? Oh shit, this is a big deal now. And that's kind of what started and caused the second major was because, once you really hurt one of those things, you got to do some serious healing. And I was not at the level of yes, I'll take care of it in any way. Now I'm like, I'll listen to light languages. I'll get Reiki. I'll bend over backwards and do I don't care how crazy. If it makes it all better and I don't have to wear a back brace that makes all the middle muffin part feel like death. Dude, you eat and you're wearing one of those back braces. It's a weird sort of 16th century girdle where you're just
how you get that? It goes from here, goes inward, goes to that.
Especially driving with one of those things. I had to drive 16 hours with one of those things on to a convention, and it kept digging in. All of a sudden I get there and there's cut marks because the thing had bent so much. I looked at somebody, I'm like, if this didn't make me want to kill people, I think I upped a level in my spiritual elevation because I didn't kill anybody at a rest stop because of this damn thing.
It's miserable. It's like, I know when a few years ago I had reconstructive surgery on my hand, and
Ooh,
it was my primary hand, and it's hard. Try to do everything with your opposite hand.
I had to do that when I was a kid. I was roller skating and tried to do like a jump, but the roller skate string caught in the wheel. So I got caught on my bunk bed ladder with my arm going down first, shattered the whole arm, and had to go to the hospital to get a cast.
Wait a minute. You
Because
lost.
I am super special. So I was rollerblading in my room because you're not supposed to.
That was going to be my question. I'm like, can you please tell me how?
Because it wasn't allowed outside. It was Christmas. So it wasn't allowed outside, and they didn't want to wait. Of course, I'm impatient. I didn't want to wait to try 2 days to go to a park because it was Christmas. So I am in my room at night while everyone's sleeping going, I'm going to teach myself to rollerblade. Then I decide, I'm great. I do a jump, catch them onto the fucking lace of one of the wheels, onto the ladder, and literally shatter my arm, and everybody wakes up to me screaming. Yeah, I was a nightmare child. I don't deny it for a freaking second, man.
I used to work at a skating rink, and I'm like, I've ran over people. I've been ran over. I've never encountered a bunk bed while I was roller skating.
No, that's an obstacle course you missed. It's a Thursday night thing. It was only a short while. It's like rage rooms, except you break your own body. But now, of course, I had to learn how to do everything with my other arm during that because I had this huge cast on. I was not the cool kid in school. They were like, now what with this child?
No, it's not uncommon to be able to do that, because I remember years ago my father told me that, I don't know, he was like born right-handed. He had some major whatever with his hand and actually learned to become left-handed. Mm-hmm. And even when this healed, he was now left-handed, but then he shattered his left hand and went back to being right. And I'm like,
yeah. Well, I actually ripped up the whole shoulder muscle behind this arm. So, like, I had this one healed, and then I don't even remember what the story is with that. It was some crazy nonsense once again. I was always backyard wrestling as a kid. I was not the typical little girl. So I ripped all the muscles in here, and I couldn't use this arm. It was like one of those, like, hello, guys. So that's how it wound up being, like, da, 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 da. And neither of them are great. Let's just put that in perspective. I'm not claiming it's like, da, 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 da. It's more like, nah. So I can write with both, but it's not like either is beautiful. It's like, I wanted to be a doctor, so this is my handwriting. It's not like a compliment.
You don't have two left hands, right?
For the
doctor didn't put an arm right for me, guys.
For the folks who are watching,
I am not truly insane, I swear.
I always tease about Dave being 100 miles an hour, and he's like a jumping bean. I think I have found the female equivalency to Dave. Hey, let's talk about a special date.
A special Dave.
Date.
Oh. His face was so great. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Last year, we always remember Friday the 13th. That's when we tell them what we did on Friday the 13th.
We got tattoos.
But why did we get tattoos?
We went and actually investigated Tony Bill's studio for the first time
on
Friday the 13th.
And this Friday the 13th, which is what, 2 weeks?
Yep.
Little less?
Oh, God. You just gave me a panic attack. Yes.
Another special event on Friday, August the 13th. And on that note, Miss Molloy, tell them what Friday the 13th is this year.
It is a new special holiday just for horror fans. It is the Devil's Lettuce movie release. Yes, that's right. This movie I made is not... Scared the fuck out of me, Dave. Wait until I see you. I'm going to flick you in the head. Flick, flick, flick. Especially with the headphones on. All of a sudden, I'm like, was that in the room? Okay. Then I saw Dave's face. I'm like...
She's like, I told you not to talk to me when I'm live.
More than anything, I got to remember the rating on the show. I was like, oh, don't do the gestures. So the Devil's Lettuce movie is about a group of kids that decide to want a party on Friday the 13th in the graveyard, as they do. And one guy's too drunk, breaks the bowl they're about to smoke out of, and finds a human skull and decides, during a pandemic, this is a great idea. I'm going to smoke a bowl out of a human skull. Well, the two guys do that, and something happens to them. Their eyes change. They start growling and losing their words, but getting super aggressive, and they start chasing the girls. What happens is the movie. And I got to tell you, I made sure that I played with your audio and visual senses as well as your visceral feelings throughout the whole movie, because I play with different visual. I was like for the lips moving again. I was like, neither of them. Because I mess with all those different types of visual things so that you could see different perspectives of the deterioration of the person, or, you know, are they possessed? What's going on with them? And there's amazing moments where I got to film inside a haunted, I swear, abandoned 100-year-old church. And the audio, I got to find it for you guys, because, you know, a lot of the background audio you cut out for the dialogue. But there were moments where I'm like, there is nobody on my team that night that had a voice of that tone that was just like, where you're like, I want to clean that up and figure that out. There was nobody, you know, those kinds of moments. And then another time.
The thing is, though, people don't realize, because of all the funerals that happen in churches and all the energy in a church, churches are one of the best places for energy and for finding actually haunted things.
Loren, we were just discussing last week that our cameraman John McGinnis contacted Dave and I. He films all our events, and he was filming. Now, this wasn't an investigation, just a seminar. And Dave and myself and Mr. Jeff Leeper, we were doing a seminar, and our cameraman was actually picking up disembodied voices while we were filming live. And then, of course, again, when he went over everything you filmed.
And that church that we used actually at one point was used for satanic rituals. So then we had a guy that created an entire demon goat costume by hand. So he's in that church, and there's all these weird sounds. And at one point, I actually just used the footage as is, because if they're dust particles, they're dust particles. I don't care what they are, because it looks like 1,000 billion orbs just going across the screen, and it was not one single moment of special effects I used. Because, like, while I'm recording the moment, I kept almost stopping and being like, "This is coming out really weird, guys." And they're like, "Why would you stop using that then?" I was like, "Oh, right, yeah, okay." And the other place we used was an actual graveyard that was over 100 years old and stuff like that. So we had some weird stuff happen there. One girl got super sick, and it wasn't until I started saying prayers on her, because I'm also ordained. So she was really sick, and when I pulled up to the location, they were like, you know, she's really not doing well. We don't know what it is. You know, we gave her sugar. She's not popping back. And I went over to her, and I was like, and I said something, and she was like, "Oh, okay." And she just looked at me. She's like, "Thank God you're here." And everyone was like, "What the?" And she said something like messed with her, and she couldn't breathe. She was like in her body, but she wasn't. All the stuff we always hear when something's fucking with her. I'm sorry. You have me on a show with a G rating, guys. Just like a censor bar over my face like this.
There it is. Oh, wrong one.
Enough. That was Ernie. There's an elephant under his chair. So, you know, there was a lot of moments throughout filming this movie. And there was another spot where it was just like a kill shack in the middle of nowhere. And like to the point where like a cop just appeared and was like all like upset with us, even though it was like public property. I just kept looking at him, and I'm like, "There's something you really want to tell me if you were off duty, huh?" And he just looked at me. He's like, "You should leave before it's dark." And I was like, it was like The Haunting. You know that, did you ever see The Haunting where the housekeeper walks in and she's like, "No one comes any closer than that. No one comes after dark." I was like, okay, everyone pack up. We're getting the fuck out of here. Like,
Get out.
I mean, I would have punched a ghost in the head. I was like, oh, like.
Not even though the movie doesn't get released till the 13th, I know someone that got a sneak peek preview of it.
Yes, you do. Yes. Now, I do want to say one of the reasons that I allowed Ernie to watch the movie was because we truly were trying to have you in the movie. And then because of, you know, scheduling issues, it just didn't work out. So because he already knew about the film, had an insight into it, but was never a part of it, it's the perfect type of person to review it before it's released. Plus, because of your daytime training and all that stuff, you have an extra sense of a perspective. So plus, you're just going to tell it like it is. So that's one of the reasons we made sure you were one of the people that allowed it. I needed somebody to be like, it's nice, or just, and then like Ernie, so.
Well, we have a comment from one of our viewers. They have an idea for you to make a movie about. It's called Revenge of the Bats. Have you seen our little bat video?
I told you about it.
Oh yeah.
David screaming like all get out.
Dear Facebook user, I wish you had a name.
I don't know where it's coming from because it's not from Paranormal Inc. and it's not from Step Into the Paranormal. So
I have a stalker, it seems, and thank you to your stalker fan for joining us. Thank you for saying you can't wait to see the movie. Loren, you're an absolute genius. Why, thank you. I didn't say it, you did. I'll take it.
He has that secret.
Look at this one. Look at this one.
Oh my God.
Matching
That was Carly Hall that said that.
Carly, yeah.
Says Carly Hall at the end. The bottom comment says Carly Hall by Carmen. I'll try to be sneaky. I don't mind it. Hey, and you know what? I would totally do that. First of all, Ernie and Dave in a movie or on camera ever. This is why we watch them, is because look at the two of them. First of all, just watching their faces. See, that's good enough for me. Plus, let's go back to the moment where Dave got locked in an elevator for a second, and his face exiting the elevator should have been a moment in the movie. And by the way, now that I know, Dave, just you wait.
We blasted the video all over the place.
Well, the messed up part
is, was it Pam Barry who made the gif of literally him coming out of the elevator like,
I don't know who was filming. All I know is as I'm standing there.
Lindia was filming it.
It's going up and it's not moving. Now I'm caught between the third floor where I can see out right here, and there's a drop beneath me to get out. So the gate won't open, and all of a sudden the lights go out. I'm like, all right, guys, this ain't funny. The elevator's like this big by this big, enough for me to go like this in it. I'm like, come on, y'all. This ain't.
I didn't know Dave was
John. Yes, John. Of all the people that get stuck in an elevator that night, of course it's going to be Dave. You think ghosts don't have an IQ? I mean, and that's not at you, John. I just mean like a general statement. They're going to look at the two of them and go, who would I get more of a cackle out of scaring? It's not going to be Ernie.
Shit out of Dave.
I didn't know
Dave, your face was priceless. I literally want to take that gift and just add it into any fucking movie. I had
to get a T-shirt made of him coming out of the elevator.
Oh my Lord!
I'm telling you, I wish I could do the face perfect. It was like
I had no idea Dave was in there, and I was like a floor below. And I said to someone, "Where's Dave?" There was something I needed to tell him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "I don't know. I think he went that way. Oh, maybe he went that way." And then all we hear is, "Get me out of here!" And I'm like,
the footage I saw,
this isn't funny.
I'm like, "Where's that voice coming from?" Well, then he starts ramping up a little bit, like panic mode. And I'm telling Dave Haney, I'm like, "Can't we keep him in there like an extra couple minutes?"
Well, no, also
I wasn't there, bro.
Oh my God, just get me the hell out of here,
dude! If I was there, do you know how many voices I could fucking do and mess with you? Give me that little boy. I mean, that'll be great.
Get out.
Dude, Ernie, remind me. I'm going to just start sending Dave random, really creepy little videos. Just super. But creep. It'll be great. I'm so excited. I have a new project.
Oh my Lord.
No, that was all good stuff, man. And by the way, to whoever made that comment about making the Revenge of the Bats, the answer would be totally. I mean, just the two of them would be fucking hilarious.
That was Carly.
Yes, Carly, I like it.
When we had Carly and Jack on that night, I tell you what, man, I was laughing to the point where I thought I was going to pass out because I couldn't breathe. That them two had me laughing so hard.
Dude, that's why when I'm about to get into an elevator, I actually will touch the side and be like, "Thank you for doing your job. I appreciate you." I don't care if anybody thinks I'm crazy. I don't get locked in the elevator.
Well, when the lights went off and then the elevator started bouncing,
you had something in there with you to fuck it with.
I am 200 pounds. I'm 6'6", 78 inches. I couldn't get out of that. It scared the out of me. Where's my damn beat button?
78 inches by 4 inches.
Thank you. You can't have me on G-rating shows. I do not. I was like, he made sure he said it in inches too. Such a male thing. You're welcome, Dave.
beware of the 4-inch killer.
That one's fun. This one's a killer. 4-inch killer.
Hey, look, I found my beat button. There's my beat button.
Carmen, we're gonna need you to just follow us around, going beep, or like one of those little like card out sensor bars right in front of my mouth. Just,
But you know what? All seriousness, though, when Dave Haney was giving me a tour of the Hoover House, and I didn't know an elevator was in there, and then he's like, I asked him what this was, and he's like, "Oh, that's the door to the elevator," and I'm like, "Elevator?"
Yeah, it's like
Loren,
no
this elevator, it looked like a freaking phone booth.
Yeah,
dude, it probably was one of those.
It was very cool that the house had an elevator. I wish I had an elevator in my house.
Elevators.
You know what I mean? Like, I want an elevator.
So you just picked you picked the broken one out of the two. You were like, yes, let me pick the one that looks like a coffin standing up. I should stand in that.
I don't know if I've ever been in a house that had an elevator, you know? But
well, the thing is, though, because
cool,
I just hurt my back and I didn't want to do steps.
Oh, I totally get it, but that's why they mess with you.
Well, yeah, and it's like they knew I was already injured.
Dude, if I was a ghost, I would mess with you. I mean, I would totally mess with Ernie. Let me tell you. I can't wait to start messing with Ernie. Because that's different. That's easy.
I die, I'm going to haunt him.
I don't frighten.
I know you don't. That's why you mess with it in other ways. All of a sudden, ooh, I think she's on crack. No, it's just Loren being like, ooh.
No, there's something in his house that keeps pushing things over, and he calls me right out. Hey, Dave, you're not going to believe this. It moved. Hey, Dave, it fell off. Hey, Dave.
I know. It's so funny.
You know what? It's funny you bring that up because I was in the basement last night and I was
John, I'm glad you did. Good for you.
looking at the heart plaque.
Right.
And that hasn't moved. Like, I don't know what it happened to me, and then it happened to Ruby that night, and I can't explain it after that.
Well, it's no. Who wants to do a trick more than twice?
We can't figure it out.
Dog and pony shows, though.
We can't figure it out.
But yeah, the movie's gonna be good. I mean, Ernie, you said you watched it twice, right?
I won't give nothing away, but let me put my take on it. Would I tell, if it's okay, what I told you it reminds me of?
Yeah, for sure. I was honored.
The first time I watched it, and I mean, I hated to see it end. That's how into it I was. I actually forgot that I knew the people in the movie. Like, I was so into it, it was like I didn't even know who they were because their acting was everything was spot on. But after I watched it, I got that sense of, there's certain movies that you can just watch over and over and over. Yes. And I've always liked what I like to refer to as like the 70s cult classic type. Now, take modern day, but throw in the stink of like, 70s. It's hard to explain, but it was just like, it put me in mind of a modern day 70s cult movie. And it was, I watched it. What was it? My days run together. Either yesterday morning or the morning prior. I watched this because I always like to watch stuff twice because I'm so into it when I'm watching it the first time, excited that I missed stuff. So I rewatched it, But it was genius, man. It was pure genius from beginning, especially the end. Make sure when you watch Loren's movie, you watch it till it goes completely off.
Dark. Yep.
Yeah. So.
I always do that. I always make sure I add stuff throughout the credits so that, you're not just bored sitting there watching the thing scroll by trying to catch something.
The way that you put it together, and what got me into it was just the background effects or sound effects and the music that you chose for it. It was so spot on that it just brought everything together. And the way you filmed it was completely amazing. I can't imagine being under that much stress.
Tell people how they can go view what he's referring to.
The Devil's Lettuce movie you can find on Facebook. There's a Facebook page. There's also an Instagram page. But if you go to the Vimeo, Vimeo, look up the Devil's Lettuce, and the movie will be on there for you to watch, stream, download, etc. As of Friday the 13th this August. If you'd like a DVD copy, you can contact me, and I do it through PayPal because it's just simple and easy. And there's a link that I'll send people that way. They get Ernie is brown nosing? Nah, dude, not at all. He doesn't do that shit.
That's good.
But yeah, if you're interested in a DVD copy, I can send you the link that's all set up, and that will go straight to you because I think it's like $20 plus shipping, something like that. But one of the things I got to say is I have to say thank you to my cousin Bob Snyder. A bunch of the songs in the movie were by his band, The Ooze. And if I didn't have that music, I think those moments that I love the best, some of the best kill scenes, pictures of moving on the wall. Oh, just so you know, I have a fan and an air conditioner on. Just so you know. So, like, this is moving.
But I love it when our fans actually notice things like that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
And we've had things happen upstairs.
If you do see stuff, absolutely tell me. I'd rather be like, I have no explanation versus, I didn't notice it for sure.
2 minutes ago, you were talking about the Goat Man and the
Demon Goat. Yeah.
Demon Goat. When he made his first appearance in the movie, man, I was not expecting it, and I was blown away. And I was like, "Oh man, this just got real." It was. Why didn't you say it, Dave? Dave's gonna like it. Dave's gonna like it.
Definitely.
But
he was a real good sport. The guy Vincent, he even created the whole headpiece by hand. I mean, it was fucking great.
Nice.
Oh yeah, of course, Ted's. I know who it is. Ted, I love you. He's the only person that said something like, "Don't worry, honey, I'll tape your box up," and wouldn't get punched in the face. He was a super sweetheart. One of the boxes had ripped apart with all my books and fallen all over. It's like that high school moment when you drop your binder and all the papers fall in front of everybody. And He came right over and was not allowing one moment of like any embarrassment. He's like, so he made a joke out of it, and helped me pick it all up. And
we get to see Ted in like 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
We will all be together at the
Gettysburg.
That'll feel bad.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
I haven't seen Ted. Last time I saw Ted in person was, even though the bash was canceled last year, we all went anyway because we were all booked there. So we all hung out for the weekend.
Last time I saw him, he came to my house.
And he sat in my chair.
Not his chair. Oh no!
Wait a minute, my butt hurt, not yours.
So
I was thinking Goldberg's, where he was like, "No, your tiny little butt has ruined my chair."
No.
How does it? Because we were speaking when you were going through all the finishing and all the editing and all. Now that everything's done and the movie's set to release, how much has your stress level went down?
Oh, Dave paid me. So much, because I was juggling all of that plus the other stuff I always do anyway, and with the movie, most people don't realize I filmed a large portion of it myself. I was the one, making sure got all the right outfits and everything together and the props. So, between that and then also most of the special effects I wound up having to do, because you got to remember the whole movie I had to do through quarantine. And in a lot of cases, I couldn't have that many people and make sure that we were truly safe without, so we took all the right precautions and all that stuff. But there was a lot of moments where it was like, I had to do it myself so that we're all safe because people got quarantined because of jobs and stuff. Right, so, it was constantly like, the universe was like, let's see how many times Loren can have a moment where she got to go plot twist and do something different. And, so the amount of stress of just trying to make sure I got it finished filming in time to then edit the whole movie, do all the audio, do all the soundtrack, do all the DVD stuff and all the
wild part.
I mean, I did all of it, and I got to have a shout out to RJ Owls because he made the DVD cover and the movie art poster, and he knows that I am a fan of oh God, I'm so sorry I blanked, but stop, no. The movie Opera, Saprutia. I couldn't get the words out to say it right. How you say it? Suspria. Superior. Dantos. Yeah, I can never say it right, but I watch the movies all the time. It was always two movies that I loved. Opera opens up with this crow. I'm all about crows. So the dude knew that I love those movies. I love the artwork of that kind of 70s cult classic stuff. So he made something incredible. And I was like, this fits exactly how I was thinking the movie would be done. So now that it's all done, I am just like, all right, now what am I supposed to do? Oh, wait, I have other stuff I got to do. But there is this huge, like, relaxation moment for me, because think about it, expand over. I started in 2020 making this movie during the pandemic, and now it got more and more stressful, more and more difficult to even plan film shoots. You know how many times I had to change locations because they were like, we can't take the risk, and it was like, oh, so this scene was going to be in a bedroom, and now it's going to be outdoors again. Okay. Twitch, I got it. But I mean, the amount that I wound up learning to do myself, it's always worth it. I think knowledge is always worth it. So now I'm just like, all right, I can relax. And then I'm like, I say to Ernie all the time, no, I need to be doing something next. I got stuff I got to figure out. I can never just sit still, as you can tell. So
if you ever need help with filming anything, John, who's on right now,
I already told her.
He's awesome in production and post-production. He's like amazing. He can actually make me look good.
So John, they gave you to me, so welcome. I have learned in these recent days, I don't say no. I'll say, yeah, sure.
Actually, Loren, you will meet John on September 25th.
Yep.
Oh, yes, that's right. I'm so excited about this.
Yep.
You guys tell him.
Who wants to tell him?
Well, September 25th is the world's largest ghost hunt. And we are going to be there we're doing the investigation, and we have a handful of spectators that are going to be with us, including our cameraman, including Loren, and a few special guests. And we will be broadcasting live from the Sam Miller Mansion in Columbia, Pennsylvania.
The way it's working as of now, things are always subject to change. Of course, Dave and I will be there, and our guest investigators for that night will be Loren, Kelly Miller, and Jeff Leeper.
Yep.
Now, Amy, who runs Sam Miller Mansion, she's having, I think, 6. I don't know how she's choosing them, but 6 people are going to come, and observe us, investigating.
And let's make that clear again. Amy is choosing them. Don't message any of us trying to figure it out, because I've already gotten that stuff. I don't handle any of that.
We're just there to investigate, and whoever's there observing is observing.
Just because you know me, you're not going to especially get in, guys. And no offense, there's nothing I can do.
We'll be filming through World's Largest Ghost Hunt. Our banner's up for it. And then also John McGinnis will be with us filming for us. So it's amazing, man. I can't.
Well, you tend to get a lot of stuff in the wood shop. I tend to get a lot of stuff in that first room at the top right of the stairs.
Yeah.
Last time we were there, right when you get to the top of the steps, first door on the right, that place was nuttier than the peanut farm. I mean, we got.
You guys are having distortion come through on your side. There's definitely the comments are saying it as well, so I can hear it. It's like, and I'm not doing it.
His elbows were hitting the table, and he doesn't.
No.
Oh, look, and he didn't say anything. He put the freaking elbow down and then didn't say a word. He's like, look.
Yep. That's why if you don't see me, every now and then you'll see this under the table, because I'm banging his leg going, get your damn elbows off.
How is me leaning on the table?
It's not. It's not.
It's not. See that? Now, if I move of course, but if I just lean on the table.
Sounds like thunder. My bad.
I love that the both of you are so trying not to find any paranormal reason, even though every show you guys are like, I have ghosts in my house. Ignore what's going on over there. Look at flying monkeys.
That book always flies around in the air behind me by itself.
No, that Sam Miller Mansion has already been calling out to me. I mean, we had that phone conversation that last time that you were there where it was like, Loren, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I mean, that place is no joke. I mean, when you see it from outside of a print shop, you're not expecting when you go in to actually see what you see. But what gets me is, on the 3rd floor, there's a window in the wall. Mm-hmm. If you can look in, look left, look right. There's no stairway in there. There's no doorways in there. There's no steps, no ladder.
It's like a hiding spot.
It's a hiding spot behind a hidden window. And if you look outside of that window, there's a framework where it looked like what I would suppose a bookshelf would be. In the basement, there is a sealed up underground railroad tunnel where you can they actually brought in the runaway slaves. So my thought, put two and two together, that's where they hid the slaves at. So there's a lot of energy. We've actually put our equipment up on the windowsill itself, and Ernie was calling it out. Can you turn that one on? Can you turn that one on? Now turn that one off, man. I'll make that one ring. Now turn and literally pointing at him, and it was ringing.
That night, it was getting kind of like activity, but not a lot. So I pulled away from my group and went up to that room where Dave was with his group. Right. And when I went in, everything it looked like a light show.
Yeah.
And, I kind of tried to calm everything down, bring everything to even keel. And then I was like, okay, if you're here, light up that green light. And that green light would come
on a REM pod. He would call the light on the REM pod.
And I'd say, all right, stop. Now turn this flashlight on. And then the flashlight would come. And it was just like.
And now make that one hit red. And it would go. And I mean, like clockwork.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. I'm telling you, that was interesting, especially the stuff that kept coming through. I was telling Ernie where it was like, remember where I said I had envisioned like a boy hanging from, like sitting on the rafters or whatever, Ernie?
I never did tell, because Dave's been kind of hurt and I've been kind of busy and we haven't had our everyday conversations. But she said that exactly what she said she was envisioning, I guess. And I told,
my daughter, while we were there, doing an investigation, said, Dad, there's a kid up in the rafters right there. Can you see his feet dangling? And we're all trying to see the snapshot. Now we've got shadows up there, but I can't see it. My daughter can see certain things that I can't.
Yeah.
Dad, he's just sitting there like with his feet dangling, talking to us.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I saw.
I said that, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, but we got the photo of it too.
Yeah, so
and I never saw the photo. I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know anything about this place existing, which is really because I've never really looked into everything. I go wherever God moves me, really. And I always tell Ernie that. So when I wind up in paranormal locations and people invite me, it's like, oh, I really must need to be there. Especially when the thing actually was like, I want to talk to Loren or whatever. We had that weird phone call. I mean, that thing was nasty, and I yelled at it, and it was
for the people watching, we were hosting an event there, and that was the night that something touched Kelly Miller or whatever.
And she got nasty with it. But she got nasty with it.
Wait until both of us are there and I kick its butt for touching her. I don't play.
I think we were doing a Phasma box session, and I had Loren on speakerphone, and we were doing an experiment that way. But I don't remember if it was prior to calling her or during. But the Phasma actually said her name.
Yes.
Before, because I was working. I was on duty when you called me, and he's like, I got you on speakerphone. There's a bunch of people in the room, but the house just asked for you, and it doesn't do accents, and it said Loren. And I was like, all right, I'm here. I'm awake. Let's do this.
That's the same room. I think it was like our second time there. I was upstairs by myself. The room to the left, I saw a shadow about 4 feet tall, and it went across the wall and then hid in the room that we were when I called you.
Yeah, that's definitely
went right across the wall, right in the room. It was like my first time in that room. I think I chased it into the room, and when I went around the wall, it was a dead end. So I
was imagine you actually bashed your head in like in the movies, like running, there's a wall. That'd be hilarious. I'll talk to the ghost. Let's see if we can get it on camera.
That would have been him.
Yeah, that's it. I have a tendency to walk into walls occasionally.
But that place has been speaking to me since you called me, where, I told you I was like the little boy I always say hanging from the rafters, but that's an incorrect phrasing because I don't want to give the wrong image.
The thing is, what's going to be really cool is it's such a big place.
Oh, it is.
And there's only going to be, I believe, 6 of us investigating for world's largest. You know what I mean? So we can break off in teams of 2 or even teams of 3.
Right. We're not going to get all the contamination.
We can be throughout. Right. Because, we've hosted a investigation with 40 people and there was no contamination. That's how big it is. That's how, when you separate, you know what I mean?
But, and with Kelly Miller and Leper, the combination of both their energies and ours is definitely going to cause. Because I mean, Kelly's a freaking Earth angel, and Leper is just one. He's hilarious, so that good energy that always sparks off of him. But he don't. With his status in the spiritual realm, they're not going to take him lightly ever. I mean, he is a force to be reckoned with. If you look one out, you might look at him and be like, he's adorable, but the spirits look at him and go, oh fuck, it's Leper. We better be careful.
I mean, literally.
I don't even know if he realizes it either.
I know he does.
He fell in love with that the first time he was there with us, because he actually, I think it was yesterday morning at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. I was back up already, and I get a message from him on my phone, and he's like, "Are you awake?" And I'm like, "Oh man, something must be wrong." I'm like, "Yeah, what's wrong, Jeff?" He's like, "When you going back to the mansion?" And I'm like, "Jeff, we're all scheduled, 25th." He's like, "Yeah, well, I know that, but I just wasn't sure if you're going back prior." And I'm like, "Nah, that's our next time." But Jeff loves that place, man, and you're going to be shocked, Loren.
You're going to love it.
If you love creepy and dusty and spooky and
you're talking about locations. Never mind.
You're gonna love this place.
I mean, I'm pumped. Especially since the place constantly talks to me now. It's like they're excited about. One, I think they're going to be very entertained when me and Kelly decide to kick this thing's ass for touching women. I mean, that by itself, that's a good mission. Bad entity. It's gonna be so fun. It's definitely, I can already get images of the place. I looked it up a little bit, just seeing some outside pictures when it was originally built, because those images kept flashing, that brick and mortar kind of, whatever. So it's going to be a hoot. I can't wait.
When you see like our world's largest banner that Maria sent me,
it looks good.
When you see the outside, you have no idea what you're in store for. Because like I said, when we went there for the grand opening event, we walked in, it was the print shop. You go through a little vestibule area, and then you're in the big parlor.
Yeah, the giant parlor, like the old time.
Like I always say, it puts me in mind of Interview with a Vampire.
Yes.
But you're in this parlor, and I thought that was the whole place. I honestly did. So I said, what's that little door over there in the corner go to? And they're like, oh, that goes up to the mansion. And I'm like, oh.
It's almost like Alice in Wonderland door.
It is. It's like this tiny little door. Goes up these steps, and then all of a sudden it's just like everywhere.
Yeah, it's just, wait till you see it.
And when you see the pictures on the wall, they actually have pictures from back during the Civil War, during the burning of the bridge that crossed the Susquehanna. Mm-hmm. They decided to actually burn the bridge in that location. So there's a lot of energy from that there.
Yeah.
But when you look at the pictures in depth, there's like 3 or 4 of them on the wall. Some of them are just straight, it's burning of the bridge. But then when you see the faces on some of the pictures of the people, it'll just send a chill right through you. Yeah. The other thing is, this place also used to be a toy company.
Yes.
So down in the basement, they've cleaned a lot of it up, but there's these little toys in the dirt that they used to make there. And if you touch them, take them, things get weird down there.
Yeah, it's not yours to touch.
Exactly. So, I'm going to look, here's some of the toys they used to make and clean out some of the dirt.
Dave's going to touch all the toys and move them. That's what we've decided, right, Ernie? Yeah?
We're going to put, this is what we're going to do for World's Largest Ghost Hunt.
I am not Aaron, damn it!
We will put Dave down.
Yes, you are.
We will put Dave down in the basement for 15 minutes alone in the dark with no flashlight to play with the toys.
I'm good with that. Then we'll put you in an elevator again.
If this was not a G-rated show, I would start with using some letters of the alphabet right now.
Don't worry, dear. We won't lock you in too long.
The first time, this was pre-Paranormal Inc. days, but the first time Dave and I investigated together, I met him and a bunch of his friends at a mansion, and I was like, Dave, I got a great idea. If you go up these 2 flights of steps and continue up, there's an attic. This is what we're going to do, man. Take this radio and just go sit up there and tell me what happens.
And he said, start reading the questions. Don't put a light on. He puts me in, and it's Haldeman Mansion in the attic by myself.
Oh, yeah.
So I sit down, and I start going, throw a tape recorder down. Is there anybody here? Can you tell me? Yeah, I started the whole rigmarole. These were the first days, first time I'd ever investigated anywhere near him. Well, the thing is, he actually had Echovox running downstairs. What did you have running? You had something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
SP7, whatever you had. It started answering him. So I would ask questions. I'd write down my questions, and then
I was getting the answers.
So I came down with the tape recorder going, "Hey, I asked all these questions." He's like, "Yeah, I got the answers." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "The first question, the answer I got was, yes, I'm here."
So we're gonna do that whole routine again with you locked in the basement in the dark, right? Playing and touching toys. Maybe we'll put one in your pocket.
Mommy, no.
Yeah, we'll think of something. This is what we'll do. We have a few shows before World's Largest Ghost Hunt, so some of our viewers.
Yeah, Carmen, I saw that too. I heard that.
Some of our viewers come up with some ideas that you would want Dave to do as an isolation session, and we'll pick the best idea that somebody comes up with.
Do I get to play this game too?
And before I forget, our next episode in 2 weeks is going to be our last episode before the Gettysburg Bash. So that episode is going to be all about the bash. We're going to have some special guests popping in and to talk about the bash, as well as relive some great memories from all the other bashes. Loren, you've been to one. And so we're basically, that's what we're going to do. It's going to be building up to the 2021 bash next episode. So,
and that's all great, but Ernie, I feel like you're missing out on a very, important announcement from you that will be available at the bash.
I didn't want to bring it up, but
I made you.
Well, why don't you go ahead and?
No, it's not mine. Shame on you.
Last episode I announced, after, oh my goodness, 2.5 years of trying to get this done, I finally, with the help of someone very special, completed my book, and it will be released on August 19th. And if everything goes as well as planned, I will have copies of it for sale at the Gettysburg Bash 2021.
And the worst that happens is you could pre-order it at the bash and it'll get sent to your house, right, Ernie?
Yeah, but I hope
you don't have to worry. It's just awesome.
Loren, I shut the computer today and I'm like, done, finally done. Now,
I wake up, I'm like, done. Oh, good.
My stress meter went.
Yeah. And
now she just went.
No, brought it back up to my door and goes, Dave, after the show, I got my laptop here. I need your help doing something.
Yeah.
But it was, as much as I was stressed over this, and you've been working with me, I'm almost sad. I've put so much thought and so much of my heart into this to make it as just enjoyable and realistic as I possibly can put into words. And it's been such a big part of all my free time for the past 2 years. I'm almost sad that it's done, because I can actually tell you, it's for those that have written books and those that are about to try to write a book. It was so calming to me, and it was so peaceful, because when I was in my zone writing, because everything is about things that happened in the past and everything like that, it brought up all old memories of my family and my friends and things I've done, and it was so enjoyable. Like I told Loren the other night, whether I sell 1 copy or I sell 100 copies, I was such at peace when I was writing it, because it brought up so many great memories.
And what is the book called?
The book is called Paranormal, My Chosen Journey.
Yay! And the cover is going to look great too. I saw a picture. It's going to be good.
I know who helped make the cover.
Yeah, real good dude.
Well,
helps you.
Let me tell you. While we're on the topic, because the cover looks very basic, but
no.
The cover is so sentimental to me, because a lot of the parts in the book.
Basic is the incorrect word. He means like minimalist.
There
I
you
am
go.
helping him with his wordage.
But in the book, I reference a park that I spent a lot of time at. And on the other side of the fence at the top of the hill of the park was a cemetery. My family's there. My dad worked there as a kid. I worked there. And a lot of times, living with my grandparents in the summer, I was a big reader. I would take a book and I would go sit atop the hill and I would read. And so when we were on our way to Tony DeVille's to host our first public event there, I stopped by the park. And just because I haven't been there in probably 30 years. And I just took a photograph of where I used to sit, just to have. And then when I was home looking through my photos and stuff, and I was like, oh man, that's it. That's the cover of my book. It's nice and simple, and it's where my heart is. You know what I mean? It's my old neighborhood. It was a block from my house, and it's where I spent most of my time as a child, like summer playing. In the winter, we used to go sleigh riding, and I couldn't think of a better place or more meaningful for me. But when your average person looks at the book, they're going to go, what the hell is it?
Not at all. Incorrect statement. We're working on Ernie, ladies and gentlemen. When I see him, I'll flick him in the face too. Don't worry, guys. But he has a really cool cover going on since he's being silly. I'll say it because I got big balls, no problem. But it is a beautiful black and white cover. With Dave's help, he was able to have it's you with the cross in the background, illuminating with the shadow.
Yeah.
And it really is. You got to remember, folks, that the word simple in him that he's using it isn't the correct usage. Once again, what he means is that although it looks simplistic, it's visceral and it'll give you the impact emotion, which doesn't need to have a ton of stuff going on to give you the result and feeling. And with one cover image, it explains everything going on in the book. It has to do with his home life. It has to do with the paranormal. It has to do with God and spirituality. And to be able to put all of that in one minimalist picture is a very excellent and brilliant way of handling it.
So,
am I good at my job or what, folks?
Speaking of proper verbiage and me using the word simple. When I say,
hold up.
How
did you get me in this?
How you know I'm going to say you?
Watch.
So when I say Dave's simple-minded, is that the proper verbiage?
It's a minimalist mindset. He took everything out. It's like a SpongeBob and Patrick. Oh God! Can you be SpongeBob and Patrick for a Halloween party now?
Oh my gosh, SpongeBob!
Oh my God, you really? I mean, remember when he took it off and he put brain coral? Okay, too many kids' cartoons. Hi guys, I'm Loren.
Whenever we talk about Halloween costumes, this was so funny. Dave and I were hosting a Halloween event at the Haldeman Mansion. Well, he's a 7-foot Grim Reaper, and I'm a priest. Okay, so it's just our ritual to stop at Sheets for a cup of coffee because we don't have Sheets down here where we live. He's in Sheets, and I'm outside. I'm drinking my coffee or whatever, right? And I don't know how this come to be, but like some guy comes up and starts asking me for spiritual advice.
Oh my God, yes.
And I'm outside talking, and Dave's like,
he's in full collar.
And I didn't mean it to be, but I had to go on with it. I wasn't trying to.
He rolled with it. He just rolled with it.
I wasn't trying to.
I actually hung inside for a minute just to watch it.
It wasn't like
he's like, say 7 Hail Marys and then wear ladies' underpants on your head.
So we get to Haldeman Mansion, and Laura, I can't remember her sister's name. Her sister's there, and she comes up and introduces herself, and she goes, "Man, finally, all I hear about is this Ernie guy. I finally get to meet you in person." And I said, "Oh, hi, how you doing? Nice to meet you, whatever." And she goes, "That is an awesome costume." And I looked at her, I was like, "What are you talking about? I am a priest." And she was like, "Oh my God, Ernie, I'm so sorry." And I let this go on for like an hour. Like everything about her, whenever she would come around me, everything about her would change. Like, I got to watch my hair around this guy. But I had so much, because I actually contemplated becoming a priest when I was young. And I was like, I had to roll with it, man. It was Halloween, but outside the sheets, I was giving people spiritual advice. But the thing is, I was actually giving them good advice. They never asked me if I was a priest, and I never told them that I wasn't. I was giving them advice.
Dave's having a drink come out of his nose. He laughed so hard. Last Halloween, I'm actually ordained non-denominationally, and my friends asked me to do their wedding on Halloween, but they asked me to dress as the nun from The Conjuring. So I married them with all makeup, and I forgot that I was wearing it. So I leave the house in full nun garb with the thing and all the makeup on, and I get in the car, and my neighbors who are like the wrong, let me correct my statement, a certain type of Christian, we're like, I was like, all right, have a good night, guys. And they were like, I told you she's Satan, and ran into the house, locked the doors. And I was on a video chat with a friend, and I just was like, so I reversed the car, and I leaned out the car, and I'm like, Dominic! And I just drove away again. They were like,
I saw the photos. That was a good costume.
Yeah. I mean, and the only reason I say that, like a wrong kind of bad kind of Christian or whatever, is because like they're the ones that will like, if you have Halloween decorations on the lawn, they'll come over and start yelling at you about worshiping Satan. And I'm like, that sir is a ghost. This is a pumpkin. You get off my lawn. Like, so because they're like that kind of person, like, Christmas is this whole kind of thing at them. And it's like, okay.
Loren, what's the new term we use for starting with DEF CON?
Oh, DEF CON Karen. Yes, it's DEF CON Karen coming in. And I mean, seriously. They were like, and like for weeks after that, like they would like run in the house. I was like, I got to do this costume again just to keep them on their side of the lawn.
Yeah, keep them on their own side of the fence.
I mean, really, they stopped messing with me because they used to just be like, you're driving too fast. Meanwhile, I'm slowly pulling onto my curb. You know what I mean? Like nothing where I was like, okay, you're doing the most now, Karen. So it was just hilarious, especially since I didn't start off meaning to freak anybody out. I was just trying to be a nice neighbor. Like, bye, have a nice day. I was like, oh, good, the makeup works.
My Grim Reaper costume, I was having fun with because I would stand completely still as people would walk up, and they would be like, oh, cool, and then I'd move.
Yeah.
And I had people like tripping over themselves. It was hysterical. I would love to come hang out at your house on Halloween and go say hello to your neighbors.
I think we should plan that. Because I got some behind neighbors that will just have a ball, man.
Have you ever seen a 7-foot Grim Reaper with a noose hanging for a belt? I actually have a scathe cross on and a scathe with me.
Oh my God, we're planning this.
Oh,
like right before I move out. I'll just leave you in front of the property and just wander around with what was the insights thing?
When you move out, Dave can be in full costume holding his suitcases like this, going in like he's moving in.
I have
just a lawn chair sitting in the driveway.
I have these glasses that I actually have a little mini switch on for my hand that I can be looking at you and then turn my eyes red.
That's awesome. I love it. Dude, I'm planning it, especially since I got DEF CON Karens around me. It's so sad.
We are at the 2-minute warning. So, Loren, please tell everybody watching and listening how they can, once again, tell them how they can get your both movies. Tell them how they can follow you. Tell them where they can get your books and all that good stuff.
All right. I'm Loren Molloy, LorenMolloy. You can find my books on Amazon. You just look up my name. There's The Bedtime Killer, The Very Devil Herself, and The Storyteller of Pain are the 3 big novels that I have. I have a poetry book, a children's book, all sorts of stuff. So look it up on Amazon. You can find it's right there. But if you're listening, now I spelled it for you too. So you can find both my movies, Yield and The Devil's Lettuce, on Vimeo. You just look me up on that. And you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, TikTok, Facebook. Just look up my name and I'm on all of them.
Find her at the world's largest ghost hunt this year with Paranormal.
You better be watching, guys. You're going to want to see my shenanigans.
Can you bring a copy? Can you bring a copy of the children's book for him when September?
Yes, there's lots of lovely pictures for you. You don't have to worry. There's no big words. I'll bring the bedtime killer. It's about a peeping Tom turned lust killer.
The words are nice and simple.
I resemble that.
He resembles that. That's great.
And my brain replied, in lightning fast speed. Huh?
Ooh.
Scooby-Doo, where are you?
Before we go, if you haven't yet watched this Wednesday, watch the Paranormal Brew. I will be interviewed on there at 7:30 this Wednesday, and
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time. And what else? The Bash. That's all we can talk about because that's the next
And his book.
and my book. Well, that's kind of goes along with the Bash.
Book him, Dano.
But I can't believe it. The Bash is here already.
I
man.
know.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it was a year ago, a minute ago.
It really was, man. So hope everybody can get a chance to come by one of the 3 days and see everyone. And remember, when you buy your ticket for the Bash, it all goes to Pennsylvania Wounded Warriors and children with terminal illness. And the ticket is good for all 3 days.
All 3 days, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Children 6 and under are free. And
Meaning they get in for free.
What's that?
1, 2, 3.
Meaning they get in for free. You can't just pick up a child while you're there. It's not cat food. It's not a free can of cat food. I got
Again, there you go.
Ernie said it was free. I got a free child under 6. Not like that, folks.
Loren, we cannot thank you enough for spending your. I know you are busy, and I know you need your time to rest because I know everything you're involved in. But thank you so much for spending an hour of your Sunday with me and this guy here.
It's been a blast, guys. I love being around you too. It's a blast.
And please, everyone, check out Loren's movie. I have seen it twice, and you are going to love it. Love it, love it. I don't know what else to say except
The
watch
Devil's Lettuce, Friday the 13th. Now you have something epic to do on Friday the 13th, no matter where you are. Mm-hmm.
And another tattoo.
There you go. I mean, get the Devil's Lettuce on your body on Friday the 13th. I don't care. I mean, hey.
Loren, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. I love you guys. Stay safe.
Once we clear, stay with us.
Yeah, don't sign off yet. We'll after the show ends, we'll bring you back in for a second. All right, guys. Well, it is that time. Do you notice during the show he slowly goes from here and he slowly creeps his way over on top of me?
Ask Loren what I'm doing.
Fondling date. No, wait.
No. Loren is one in Baltimore words. I'm scooching closer.
Stop scooching.
She was doing some of the editing on my book, and she like messages me like scooching ? And I'm like, yeah, that means
it's sliding.
I'm scooching close. Yeah, see what I mean? I'm scooching closer.
It's sliding.
And so I get
she's down there cracking up. I can see her.
For those that read it, keep in mind I used all Baltimore terminology. So if you have
so if you're not a Baltimorean, you're gonna have problems.
If you have a hard time reading it, just contact me and I'll translate for you.
Don't speak slower.
But now, on a serious note, I mean, I'm bad mouthing my hard work. I put my heart into this, and I really think it's a nice, easy read, and it's enjoyable. It's a lot of fun, and that's all I can say.
It's that time. Love you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your support. Thank you for following us.
Well, I was going to say see you at the Bash, but we got one episode left.
One episode at the Bash. We're going to talk about the Bash and have some special guests. So love you guys. Thank you. Lots of love.
You've been listening to Step Into the Paranormal with Ernie Atwell and David Seiler. Thank you for listening, and listen in next week for another topic and more great guests right here on WLFE DB Radio Network.